Smart, sassy women who can solve a mystery, kick supernatural butt, banter with hot men, and still make time for their best female friend are the cornerstones of Deborah Wilde's stories. Her books are beloved by readers craving magic adventures, swoon-worthy steamy romances, hilarity, and happily ever after. I can hardly wait. Deborah.
Hello, everyone. Let me give you some quick context. Throwing Shade is the first in my Magic After Midlife urban fantasy series, which is complete at 7 books. Miriam Feldman, a librarian and single mom in her 40s, has shadow magic, which is despised by the majority who have light magic. Her best friend is missing, possibly because of vampires, and in this scene, she's trying to hire a wolf shifter she met once before to help her. A man squatted down with his back to me, but I couldn't tell if it was Laurent because he had a slouchy black knit cap covering his hair. The build was right, so I eased out of the car, my purse slung across my chest. He held out his hand, making kissing noises at a tiny gray kitten crouched in the grass. "Minou, Minou," he crooned. "Aw," I leaned against my car watching them. "I'm planning on eating it," Laurent said without turning around. The kitten warily sidled closer. "Please," I said, "that's not even an appetizer size for you." I beeped my fob to lock the car. "How did you know it was me?" "I smelled you." With his French accent, his lyrical cadence when he spoke turned his words into poetry. Everything sounded charming. How irritating. I crossed the street, checking my pits, but only smelled deodorant. As soon as the kitten sniffed his fingers, Laurent scooped up the tiny ball of fluff and cradled the animal against his chest. After he admonished it in French, it was my turn. "You here to insult me again?" "Depends." I stepped onto the sidewalk. "Care to comment on my advanced age once more?" "Fais cher, I didn't say you were old. I said you were too old to not know about Dybbuk's." He winced and unhooked the kitten's claw from his green t-shirt. We got off to the wrong foot. "I'm Miriam. My friends call me Miri." I stuck out my hand to shake. He scratched the cat's ear. "And?" I dropped my hand. Only the joyous memory of punching him in the face allowing me to keep my smile. "I'd like to hire you to help me find my friend." "Not interested." He walked around the corner. I followed him. "Okay, time for bluntness and the truth. Look, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't desperate. You're the only person I can turn." A short, bald man who resembled a boiled egg in owlish glasses appeared out of nowhere. I jumped back, clutching my heart. Holy fuck. "Neat, right?" the bald man said in a mild voice. "Light refraction. I practiced for years to nail it. What's your specialty?" Well, Laurent shook his head. "Why are you here, Rupert? Is there a problem with my tax return?" Rupert blinked, his brows drawn together. "Is there a problem with your tax return?" Laurent sighed and thrust the kitten at me. "Hold her." The cat hissed and I wagged a finger at her. "Stop it," I said sternly. "Listen," I said to Laurent, "if I could just have a minute." Laurent shifted one hand into wolf claws and slashed Rupert's arm. "Are you insane?" I said and tried to muscle between them. But instead of freaking out or yelling or doing literally anything that a normal person would do when some rando sliced them like a steak, Rupert smiled slyly. "I'm going to kill you." "Never mind," I said, backing up with the kitten still in hand as 2 balls of light appeared in his palm. Rupert flung the light orbs like a pitcher on steroids, his focus scarily intent. Laurent flipped sideways, his knit cap falling into the grass and messy chocolate brown curls flopping into the shifter's face. The light magic crashed into the side of the hotel, sizzling into the stone. I flinched and shielded the kitten so she wouldn't be hit by a stray shard. Rupert's shadow looked normal, but he whipped off his glasses with a cackle worthy of a villain tying some helpless victim to the railroad tracks and screamed in a deep rumble, "I shall destroy you," before renewing his magic attack. A little surprising given my first impression of him. Focusing in on Rupert's shadow, I felt the same same nightmare that I had inside Alex. While it was fainter in this man, I still itched to destroy it. I could sense Dybbuk's. I paced to the sidewalk and back, rubbing my cheek against the kitten's silky fur. It was fine. This new skill set changed nothing about my plan, and Laurent had this under control. It was his job. He dealt with the Dybbuk inside Alex efficiently, and this would all be over momentarily. The shifter swept his hair out of his eyes and tisked Rupert. "That all you got?" Rupert pitched balls of light at him like the World Series was at stake, but Laurent danced backward on the balls of his feet, elegantly dodging the attacks. It would have been breathtaking if the dumbass hadn't had a sneer on his face. "Come on, do it," he crowed at Rupert, then smacked his own chest. Center mass, baby, can't miss. Why was Laurent baiting him? This was ridiculous. I had laundry to get to, plus Jude was missing, and I had to hire him already, so I picked up a twig and lobbed it between them. It hit one of the flying orbs of light and disintegrated into a pile of ash, and I placed my hand protectively over the kitten. Could you shift and finish the Dybbuk off already? I really need to speak with you, and time is of the essence. Rupert towed at the ash. I'm not a Dybbuk. There was a plaintive note in his voice, almost like he was hoping to be told otherwise. Sorry, dude, facts were facts. I waved a hand at him. Spectre inhabited, phantomly challenged, plasma blaster, your pick. Laurent barked a rusty laugh that was bright and pure in its delight, his eyes sparkling with a warm mirth, and my heart twisted. Didn't he have much hilarity in his life? No feeling sorry for the wolf. Enough talking, Laurent said. If you're going to finish me, then finish me. He chest bumped Rupert to add injury to insult. Rupert clenched his fists, his eyes screwed tight. Light swarmed up from his feet through his legs and torso, but it wasn't nearly as bright or as powerful feeling as when Laurent had channeled light over his wolf's fur while fighting the Dybbuk inside Alex. Laurent threw his arms wide, but the fervent gleam in his eyes undermined the cocky pop of his hip and his chin notched up in dare. This wasn't a game of chicken. It was a man so desperate to feel alive that he welcomed death. I lay my hand over my heart, but sharply dropped it. Men, I said to the kitten, who mewed in agreement. I kicked my magic animated shadow Delilah into motion. Before the light fully engulfed Rupert and he shot lasers or detonated or whatever the hell he planned to do, Delilah hooked an arm around his neck from behind and choked him out. The light disappeared and Rupert went limp in her arms. Delilah dropped him. As I was saying, still cradling the cat, I awkwardly rolled Rupert onto his back with my foot. No point in him suffocating. Time is of the essence. Laurent's eyes snapped open. They glowed brilliant emerald. What did you do? He growled and advanced on me, both his hands shifted to deadly sharp claws. Jude was still missing. I now had to worry about the undead snacking on my child, and I'd missed lunch. I'd been pushed to my limit, and I was not going to be bullied by an overgrown dog with a death wish. I scratched the kitten's ears. It's like your own personal Vorpal blade. Laurent stopped dead and blinked. What? Your claws. I made slashing motions with my free hand. Jabberwocky? 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the Vorpal blade went snicker-snap. I batted my lashes at him. You going to snicker-snack me, Huff and Puff? Laurent glared at me, a muscle in his jaw ticking. I notched my chin up, the air between us growing charged. Static energy shivered into the marrow of my bones, but I didn't give an inch. I'd birthed a 7-pound human without anesthetic, my poor vag expanding like a python muscling down a cow. Try me. So that was Throwing Shade, and I'll be giving away 3 copies in the giveaway, and I will post a link to the bundle if you're interested in finding out more. Thank you.